Hi guys, it's Sargon the Great, and today we'll be talking about the censorship of hate speech. I believe our freedoms of free speech are at risk, with the concepts of censorship being embraced in the public forum. This observation led to my inspiration behind this video. Hate speech is an offensive dialogue aimed at groups that are already struggling, and some people think censorship is the only way to protect those groups. Obviously, hate speech can be harmful, but the problem is when you give the government the power to censor. That power grows and ends up shutting down voices that were never meant to be censored in the first place. This, instead of actually protecting minorities, censorship runs the risk of silencing everyone, including even the groups it originally strove to protect. Karl Marx is a notable founder of sociology, author of the Communist Manifesto, who would look at it differently probably. He would say censorship always benefits the ruling class. If the state has the power to decide what counts as hate speech, those in charge will twist the definition to protect themselves. History shows that minority voices, workers, and reformers are usually the first to be silenced when censorship laws are enforced. Marx would probably point this out and say that while silencing the hateful is a good intention, it would ultimately never happen because the government would just use this power to censor all their political adversaries. Marx would also argue that the real problem is not just hate speech itself, but how those in power can weaponize censorship to shut down the movements that challenge the system. This ties into the social conflict approach to sociology. And this is the approach that sees society as an arena of inequality that generates conflict and change. And as you can see, it's mostly based off of power, mainly between the upper class and the lower or working classes. And it's based off of the inequality and conflict in between those two power groups. And there's more, but this is the general idea. Max Weber, meanwhile, would warn about bureaucracy. He thought modern societies run on the authority and systems of rules, which can easily grow beyond their limits. If censorship becomes institutionalized, officials will keep expanding it, always justifying more control for the public good. This leads to what Weber called the iron cage, where people lose their freedom piece by piece in the name of order, almost imperceptibly. So this is, he would probably, as opposed to Marx, focus on that we might get our goal of the hateful will be silenced and hate speech will cease to be a problem, but he would argue that it would eventually spiral into total submission, a total submission tactic. He would argue that a better solution is not giving more power to authorities, but letting citizens push back against hateful ideas through debate and counter-speech. This is also the social conflict approach. When you zoom into the everyday level, hate speech shows how much words matter. Slurs, labels, or even just calling someone hateful changes how people see them. On the flip side, if you censor too much, then people stop speaking honestly, and then communication loses value. While hate speech is cruel and harmful, the founders of sociology's ideas show us how censorship creates more problems than it solves. Giving authorities the power to control speech is always dangerous, because they will use it in ways to protect themselves first. A better answer is to let hate speech be seen for what it is and rejected in the open. And